for the system. I was going to go to Commissioner Danly next, but since the chairman's nodding his head, I've got to jump to you and ask for your response.
Senator, I have to say I am extremely concerned when it comes to the pace of retirements that we're seeing of generators that are needed for reliability on our system. NERC and other grid operators have warned about this, as I mentioned earlier. This is something that we have to keep a careful eye on. We have to work with the states. They have plenary authority over resource adequacy, but there's an opportunity. We're resource neutral, but we're not reliability neutral. And so I'm focused on this issue.
Commissioner Danly, I'd like you to weigh in on this issue too, as you have commented on it, and I appreciate your comments here.
So, yes, I do. Thank you, Senator. So the problem is the subsidies that are being driven by the federal government and states in the markets, and it is our abject failure as an institution, FERC, to exercise our rate-making powers to protect those markets from the influence of those subsidies. That is the reason why these retirements are happening prematurely, and the results, I fear, are going to be catastrophic down the road. The resource adequacy that typically resides with the states in an ordinary vertically integrated utility set before the markets were established, they looked through IRP processes to make sure that everything was going to be able, all the requirements for load would be met by sufficient generation. And that simply doesn't happen in markets. We rely upon market forces to accomplish that objective. And when we undermine the markets and we send warped and distorted price signals, it is impossible for that sole means of procurement to actually achieve the objective. It will ultimately fail, I'm afraid.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Senator. I have one follow-up, and it's pretty simple. In today's world, and what you all have talked about, the energy and the grid system and all that, do any of you believe that it's possible to eliminate coal today or in the near future and be able to maintain a reliable or somewhat reliable system? Is coal intricately irreplaceable at this point in time? Chairman Phillips?
Senator, we've talked about this before. I believe in an all-of-the-above approach. Whatever resources are needed to keep our grid reliable, we have to make sure that they are available.
I think what I'm asking is basically we know that the only dispatchable we have. I've been told forever that you only have two base loads. That's coal and nuclear.
Coal is
Everything else can be interrupted, and even coal if it gets bad enough. But usually the coal power, if it's 60 days, it'll run 60 days. If the nuke's fueled, it'll run. Gas will run if you can get gas to it, but you have more chances of gas being interrupted. So the only two you really have for all of our period of time that I've grown up in has been those two.
Yes, sir. You're
so
right.
If you pulled it off right now, would it give you the certainty that the system would give you the reliability needed?
It would not.
Okay. Senator, or Commissioner?
Thank you. No. As things stand, coal is required. It makes up, I don't know, just under a quarter of all the installed capacity in America, and if it were, it would be impossible, given the locations and the realities of the electric system, to replace it.
Commissioner Clements?
Right now, today, no.
Coal is more dependable than gas, and yes, we need to keep coal generation available for the foreseeable future.